Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Okay, What's on Tap podcast, the final week of June. And for the final week of June, we thought we should do something a little different.
A little special.
Rounding it all out. So, back in, I guess, May, Omnipollo released Lorelei again in Systembolaget. And I think this is the first time it's been released in Systembolaget since its original release in 2016.
Very possible.
I happen to have one bottle left of the 2016 edition because I bought at least 5 bottles of it when it came out, and I've had it 4 times. So I'm guessing this is the last bottle of it that I have. I know it's the last bottle that I have, but I think it's I had it the 4 times over the past couple of years, and I've always enjoyed it. It's been a really good beer.
So for the uninitiated listener, I think it's a coconut toasted maple.
So it's a coconut maple toast imperial porter brewed with toasted coconut and maple syrup. It's a collaboration with Dave
Strahan.
Stragan. I think Stragan is it Strahan or Stragan? I can't tell is it a C or a G? I think it's Stragan. He won a contest, I believe. Homebrewing contest to brew a beer.
Yes.
And in 2016, that was kind of what a thing was, where if you won a homebrewing contest, one of the prizes was to be able to brew on a professional level with a brewery. And Omnipollo was the brewery at the time. They said, hey, you know what? We will help you brew your home-winning beer.
Yes.
And they brewed it ever since, I think. Ever since it originally came out.
Yeah.
So I think it's an annual beer at this point.
I think it's been annual, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's made with Siren. Could that be true?
Siren, and is brewed at Dugas.
Huh.
So there's a lot of... So this is one of the few Omnipollo beers that's truly Swedish.
It's actually Swedish.
It's actually Swedish. So I was almost going to say, like, in the beginning, like, oh, we're fudging this a little bit because we're doing Omnipollo. And for the most part, up until just a few months ago, all Omnipollo beers were almost exclusively brewed outside of Sweden. They were considered a Belgian brewery. But they've recently they've taken over a church, and now they're starting to brew inside Sweden.
Yes.
And creating a lot of beers through that process. Yes.
So we need to start with the old one, right?
Yeah, I think we should smell both first, right? So we have a side-by-side comparison of the smell. So let's start with you want to start with the old one or the new one first? Let's see. Oh wow!
There's so much difference.
Huge difference. So the new one has this like caramel butterscotch kind of flavored smells to it. It's so syrupy,
harsh maple.
Yeah, it is like
woody maple,
super syrupy,
sap straight off the tree. Whereas the old one it's like a sweet cookie.
Yeah, it's almost like an oatmeal cookie kind of with brown sugar, more of a.
I'm a bit put off by the new one's aroma.
The new one is just smells so adjunct heavy.
It's very artificial, but the old one smells like so smooth.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a real treat.
Well, I was surprised that when I poured both of these, because Omnipollo isn't known for their high carbonation in their beers. No. Both of these had quite a bit of carbonation. Yeah. And in fact, the new one, there's still a bit of carbonation right around the top of the glass, which, again, is quite surprising for an Omnipollo beer.
Uh-huh.
But I guess let's do the new one first or the old one first?
I don't know. I think I want to try the old one first.
I think we should try the new one first.
Okay.
To set a baseline. All right.
Sure.
And both have water beside it, or you have water beside you. Yeah. So we can reset our palates whenever after we try.
Fair enough.
Right.
So yeah.
Cheers.
Adjuncts and maple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good beer. I mean, it's not nearly as cloyingly sweet as it smells, because that smell was like, whoa, wow. Yeah. But
the taste is quite adjunct heavy.
It's sweet. You're definitely getting the maple. You're getting a toastiness to it. You're getting the roasted malts. Both of these come in at 10.5% ABV.
Yeah.
I just want to say. So these are not light beers.
Tastes a little bit burnt.
Mm-hmm. You're definitely getting a burnt note on that.
Like black popcorn.
Sure.
It's not a good. When I say burnt in this, it's not that good of a flavor.
Yeah, I was thinking more like burnt toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better.
A little bit. Yeah, the black popcorn is one of the worst things ever. But I think this is a better version of that. So yeah, it's good. I think if you had it on its own, you would quite enjoy it. But it is syrupy sweet, and it is rather.
But wait, right now I am having it by itself.
Yes, it's true. But I'm saying so we are having it by itself. But I was just thinking if it wasn't in comparison with something else, like you had this and something else different, because we already smelled the other beer.
I have
our
smelled the
anticipations
other beer.
for this beer is quite different. So
yes.
The old version we know is going to be more balanced and rounded, probably, and still have a lot of flavors and characteristics to it, but not be as in your face as the new version.
You're probably right.
Yeah, and just to be fair, I've always loved Lorelei. I think it's been a great beer. I know a lot of people have not enjoyed it as much over the years, but I've always quite enjoyed this beer from Omnipollo.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a sip of the new one, of the old one.
Do we go to commercial?
No commercials this time. We'll just
no commercials.
Yeah, this won't be that long of an episode. So.
Oh, it smells so good.
Mm-hmm. This is weird because we're missing all of the coconut, all of the maple, and what we're getting is just kind of like a classic porter stout flavor profile of raisins and dates and
sweet chocolate,
and still a little bitter, but not tasting quite as burnt as the original. So I would say this is too old. I think it's lost too much of the characteristics.
I love this so much.
I think it's really good too, but compared to what it originally is, I think this probably has about a 2-year shelf life at best.
Maybe. Yeah. For what it is, the 2016 is no longer a coconut maple toast. It's no longer a coconut maple toast. It is now a sweet milk chocolate. It's like taking a Marabou milk chocolate bar and just biting into it.
Yeah.
In the best ways.
Yeah.
It has turned into such a great regular stout, but it's no longer Lorelei. It's something
you're right.
else.
It is no longer Lorelei. It is no longer the beer it started out being.
It is something else.
And I think that's why doing these side by side comparisons are so interesting. Is we've done this once before, I believe. Maybe we've done it twice, but I can only remember once before when we did the barrel aged
1050.
And that did not age well. That was a mess down the line. So much so I'm kind of I don't think I need to buy a barrel aged 1050 for quite a while. I think I'm good here.
The new one, I've returned to a new one, and it's better now. I needed the old one to kind of cut off the adjunct attacking my taste buds.
Yeah.
And now that my mouth is coated with the beers, the new one is tasting much better.
For me, the new one just tastes like cake batter or like cake frosting almost. It's so buttery and it's so rich and sweet and not buttery in its. Not,
no, but it really is buttery.
It's buttery, but not in that buttered popcorn kind of way where you describe it as an off flavor. It's just got this creaminess.
Exactly, like an innocent gun has this butterscotch off flavor.
Yeah.
No, I mean a stick of butter.
Yeah. This kind of almost tastes like a stick of butter frosting.
Yeah.
Buttercream frosting is what it tastes like.
But I mean, a stick of butter tastes good.
Yeah.
It's why you include it in all cooking, because it just enhances everything.
Yeah, for sure. Man, this is weird. I would say this is almost comparable to when Matthias and I did a side-by-side comparison of Eternal Darkness from Beer Protec, which went from like a really good stout to like a peat smoked like stout. Like, how is that even possible? There's nothing smoked about this. There's nothing in this beer because it was just a straight up like stout. I mean, by the books, straight stout, and just turned into this amazingly barrel-aged smoked peated beer for some reason. It was crazy. And this is kind of that disparity here where you get from something that's almost like butter candy into something that's just like a really nice, well-rounded imperial stout.
Yeah. The old one is reminding me of some beer from my beer past. I won't be able to figure it out, but we're talking like 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Like stouts used to taste.
Like when they were just stouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am thoroughly in love with the old one for non-Lorelei reasons.
Yeah.
So much so that it's increasing the new one just by like, not by comparison, but by
degrees of difference.
Osmosis, basically.
Yeah. I will say I'm not liking the Lorelei as much as I did when I originally tried it. And I don't know if it's only because I've had so many pastry stouts over the years that I have different expectations for what I want from one and how I want it to taste. And this is just so sweet and rich, and it's lacking complexity in a way that I think it had originally when I originally tried it. But then the older version is just so clean and neat and drinkable. Like if they just made that beer, you would be like, I could drink the shit out of this. I just called it like Omnipollo Stout and not make it like a adjunct bomb.
Double pizza, hamburger, French fry, maple toast,
peanut butter, banana, granola,
butter, imperial,
double smoothie,
imperial braggot mead, extravaganza,
exactly,
IPA. What? No, we're making fun of them, but
we're making fun of them, but it's not too far off.
It's not too far off. When we first tasted the 2020, I was disappointed and I was like sad, like, oh no, is this what it has become? Yeah. But now it's much better. I was, when we first tasted it, I was like below 4, but now it's all come together, and I'm going to give it a weak 4.25. The new one.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Whoa!
Hey, that buttery butterscotch sweetness is just so aggressively cloying and so sweet.
I still disagree with butterscotch. I don't think it tastes like butterscotch at all.
So the maple is so aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't get the coconut as much as I would like on this.
That's true.
And because the maple is so aggressive and the coconut is so lacking in this version of it, that it's just kind of a mess for me. Whereas the 2016 version, while it's missing both the coconut and the maple syrup, it is just a really pleasant imperial porter. Because you get still get the toasted malts on it, and it's just a very pleasant, easy drinking beer. So I'm gonna give that I think a 4.25.
And I'm gonna give the 2016. I'm choosing to rate the 2016 as a beer and not as an aged Lorelei. That's why I'm choosing to rate it as well.
Because as aged Lorelei, it's like a 1. Because it's missing everything. There's no flavor that simply resembles
It's like a sour IPA that's not a sour IPA.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm giving this a 4.75.
Oh, wow.
Based just on... I mean, it's so smooth. It is. Tastes like nothing I've had in the last 5, 6, 8 years. It really is a blast from the past. It is from 2016, but it tastes like it was 10 years older than that.
Yeah.
It's just melted milk chocolate in the best of comparisons.
Yeah, it's truly become a great beer. So I guess the takeaway for this is, if you're going to buy Lorelei, let it sit for like at least a year, maybe 2, then try it. And then if you really want to like go the distance, give it another year or 2, and it's going to age out into something that's just really balanced and pleasant and quite good. Because I remember having it like a year or 2 after it came out, and it was still like, this is so good. There's so much flavor here, but this has completely fallen off on all of the flavors.
Yeah, it's something completely different.
Yeah,
I'm really digging it.
Great. Well, you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, We Are Pod Syndicate, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you can find us.
This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.